Yesterday, Trump's press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, was asked about the looming deadline to fund the government, which is coming up in just 1 week. Here's what she said.
If the government is shut down, it's only going to, it will be the fault of the Democrats, and it will only hurt the most vulnerable in our country, our seniors, our veterans, our military families.
This is rich coming from the Trump White House. Caroline is conveniently ignoring that Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the White House. If the government shuts down, it's on them. And a majority of voters agree. 59% would fault either Donald Trump or congressional Republicans if the government ran out of funding. She's conveniently ignoring that Republican leaders in Congress sent everyone home last week without a deal. And somehow she's blaming Democrats for fighting to keep healthcare affordable. Also pretty ironic that the three groups that she mentions, seniors, veterans, and military families, are already suffering under Trump. Thanks to the Republican budget bill, 300 rural hospitals and countless nursing homes are at risk of closing. Thanks to Republican budget cuts, wait times and staffing shortages, the VA are up and continuing to rise. And between the politicized deployments of the National Guard or the latest chaos coming from Pete Hegseth's incompetent Department of Department of War, it's not Democrats who are hurting Americans. Caroline, the call is coming from inside your own White House. And no matter how much you want to deny it, if the government shuts down, it's because Republicans can't get their act together. That's on you. I'm Hannah Moldavan, Deputy Communications Director for the Democrats, and your host for today. It's Tuesday, September 23rd, and this is the Democrats' Daily Blueprint. Here's the thing. If you've been reading any of the coverage about a potential government shutdown, then you know that Democrats are taking a stand. We're united in our belief that we need to bring down the cost of healthcare, something we've consistently fought for since we passed the Affordable Care Act in 2010. Fast forward to today, Democrats in Congress are fighting with every lever that we have to avert a healthcare crisis. So here's a breakdown. At the end of the year, a key tax credit for Americans who buy their own health insurance on the ACA marketplace is set to expire. Without any action by Congress, that means that premiums are going to skyrocket by an average of 75% for 22 million Americans. Democrats have made it clear that we won't vote for a short-term funding bill without action to save this tax credit. And Democrats are unified too. We need to cancel the cuts, lower costs, and save healthcare. While we've been clear in our position, Republicans have refused to even negotiate. Again, they control Congress. Last week, they sent everyone home while the clock keeps ticking away. Democrats, on the other hand, are for greater affordability, both in Congress and across the country. Here's DNC Chair Ken Martin talking about it with MSNBC anchor Chris Jansen.
Is it the economy?
Well, you know, James Carville said this best back in '92, and really nothing has changed since then, Chris. It's always been the economy. That's what people vote on first, is their own economic interest and their pocketbook issues. And that's where Mikey is squarely focused on, is making sure that people can afford their lives, making sure that, people can actually put groceries on the table, afford their mortgage, maybe, afford just enough money they can save to maybe take their family on a vacation. The American dream, the idea that if you work hard and play by the rules, you should be able to climb the economic ladder. That's what Mikey's fighting for, to make sure that people can afford their lives.
We know that life has gotten too expensive, whether it's healthcare, housing, grocery costs, or childcare. And on the campaign trail, candidates are talking about the solutions they'd bring to the table as opposed to the chaos that we're getting right now. Energy costs in particular have become a huge issue in New Jersey's governor's race, with Mikey Sherrill talking about taking on special interests, streamlining upgrades to existing facilities, and bringing more energy onto the grid. Her Republican opponent just wants to cancel offshore wind projects and withdraw from climate change agreements. This isn't rocket science, it's basic math. Price hikes are going up because there's more demand than the grid can handle. And to bring down costs, we need more energy from more sources and leaders that are willing to fight tooth and nail to get it done. Mikey Sherrill is that candidate for New Jerseyans, and here at the DNC, we're investing in her coordinated campaign so she can deliver results and cost savings for residents in the Garden State. And it's the same story across the country as Democrats make affordability a key part of their campaigns. So here at the Daily Blueprint, we're highlighting candidates who are fighting for working families and who need your support to win. So for today's segment of 60 candidates in 60 days that we're spotlighting before the November election, we're focusing on Mayor Andre Dickens of Atlanta. As a native Atlantan and product of its public schools, Mayor Dickens is focused on expanding opportunities, equity, and prosperity for all residents. Under his watch, crime is down while investment and opportunity is up. Mayor Dickens is running for re-election to continue this progress and improve the lives of everyone who calls Atlanta home. To make calls, knock doors, and volunteer with the Dickens campaign, go to andreforatlanta.com/get involved. You can find the link in our video description below. Thanks for joining us today for this episode of the Daily Blueprint. We'll be right here with you every weekday at 10 a.m. Eastern on the DNC's YouTube page. Until tomorrow.